All right, let's talk Chicago Bears rebuild. A new kind of video. I've never made this before, so we'll see how it goes. But this is just kind of what I would do if I was in charge of the Chicago Bears. If all of a sudden I become GM tomorrow, what would be my kind of 2-3 year plan to get them from the worst team in football, which they were last year, to pick first overall, to being, hopefully a real contender? How would I make it work? And I actually think the Bears are maybe closer than people realize. When I'm going through this, they're actually in a pretty good spot. So first, the stuff that I would do this year, before, this offseason, which we only have a little bit left, what would I try and do? Well, here is the chart underneath me. Again, hopefully the chart fits and everything because, again, I'm new to this kind of style of content. But, it's 2023. They have $32 million in cap space. And I think the main thing I would do is I would sign DeAndre Hopkins. I would. I think that Hopkins would be someone who could really help, again, make it easier on Justin Fields. I think the whole thing we want to do this year is know who Justin Fields is. And hopefully getting another wide receiver, again, they have the cap space to do it. I guess we have the cap space to do it because I'm the GM, right? I think getting another guy who, I don't think they need another guy, right? I think they have the talent, but why not just get an extra player who, because injuries happen. Like, yeah, this receiving core looks pretty solid on paper, but what if DJ Moore gets injured? Then you're screwed. Like, then all of a sudden you could be in another situation where, okay, it's not a great receiving core. You're back to where you were last year, and Fields doesn't have anyone to throw to, and we have to wait another year to really see what we have with Fields. I'm not taking that chance. Hopkins is available, a veteran player who could also just help out Justin Fields, could be a good locker room guy. I don't know anything about him, but it seems like that could be a positive asset. That to me makes sense. So that's the kind of the one thing I would do heading into this offseason. I looked for any potential trades I could make, and to be honest, I didn't really love any trade option. Again, maybe some small moves I would make if I was actually the GM. I'm kind of just focused on big moves right now in the broader strokes. I'm not going to, talk about which 7th round draft pick I would select next year. But this is what I would do. I don't think we'd be great next year, but I think we'd be okay next year offensively. The defense would kind of struggle. I'm imagining the Bears would be, maybe around mediocre. You see right there, that is going to be I did a PFF mock draft. You can actually do one for next year. And first off, I just got to say, I am not a college football fan. When you see my draft content, that's because I basically just spend like a month watching tape nonstop to do all that content and learn about all those players. So because of that, I have no idea who Kalen King and Cooper DeJean, I don't know how to say his name. Apologies to Cooper, but I don't know who these guys really are that much. So I'm going off of the PFF projections. But basically what I'm doing here is drafting a couple of defensive backs. That would be my strategy in the upcoming draft, is build the secondary up through the draft, as the Bears have an extra first-round pick now due to the Bryce Young trade, which was a great trade that the regime before me left for me. So appreciate all of that. This is how I would approach the draft, and this is how I would approach the just off-season moves in general, because this is why the Bears are actually in a pretty good spot. It's 2024 now, and they have $95 million in cap space. So I think what I would first do is build up the defensive line through free agency. The guys that I decided I would go after would be Chris Jones if he's available. If not, I just go after DJ Reader, who should still be a very good run-stopping interior defensive lineman. Again, who knows what happens, because I also have Danielle Hunter here. Maybe Danielle Hunter goes out and has like an amazing season and gets priced out, and I don't love the price anymore. Maybe he has an atrocious season, and maybe I still sign him as a flyer, but I don't pay him any money. But knowing what we know now, these are just the kind of ideas I like. There's a lot of good defensive linemen available in free agency, so it doesn't even have to be those players necessarily. The other thing I put on the list is I would trade a 2025 second rounder for Carlton Davis. The PFF mock trade or a mock draft trade simulator said that would work. A second round pick would work for Carlton Davis. So if that works, that's what I would do. Someone like that. I would just try to make a trade to get a veteran corner in general, because I actually think that for the Bears, assuming Justin Fields is still good, because again, if Justin Fields isn't still good, well, then we have to completely reworkshop this, but assuming Justin Fields takes that next step and looks really good, I think I have one more rebuilding year, and then I'm retooling to try and be a real contender the following year, sort of in the last year of Justin Fields' rookie contract. There's the fifth-year option, but that's a little bit higher price tag. So I think I go out and I get some veteran defensive players. I think the offense is actually pretty good. Again, could they use like a little bit of offensive line help? A little bit, but I think that they have an answer there. They're pretty good. Maybe an interior guy, but that's really all my notes. And then defensively, they have a lot of holes, but you know what? With the other draft picks that we have, and maybe make some smaller signings, I would try to build up, linebackers and kind of the depth guys that way. Get these stars through free agency, and again, the Chiefs might just franchise tag Chris Jones, and then Danielle Hunter gets franchise tagged, and now it looks completely different. I don't know. But as of right now, to me, this feels like a good idea, assuming Fields takes that next step. I also put re-sign some key players, which is a little bit vague, but just they have a little bit of guys that they need to re-sign. They don't have a ton, though. I mean, really, 2024, they're in very good shape. They have $95 million in cap space. They should be going out and getting some star players. So this is kind of a loose outline of how I would be viewing it right now if I'm the Chicago Bears. Again, so much could change before we get to that point, but I do think that if I'm the Bears GM, that's how I would be viewing it, is I would look into it and say, okay, I would like to have another wide receiver right now. DeAndre Hopkins available, make that. There's, where we're projected to be drafting, there should be some good defensive backs, so I can kind of help build the secondary through that way and help build the defensive line through free agency. And linebackers, they're good on linebackers. They don't need any linebackers, so maybe you could add a third guy, but the top two guys are good, so add a third guy through the draft or whatever, and then get depth that way through the draft, and there's a chance that this team could be really good. So, well, I don't think the Bears are quite ready to compete just this next year, and I do think rebuilding one more year is probably the right move. I don't think they have to rebuild that much longer. I think the Bears are actually maybe closer than people realize, and rebuilding them, they've done kind of the hard work a little bit. They've done the hard stuff. Now they just have to make sure that they can, the players that they've invested in and, put the draft capital in, or put, gotten DJ Moore and stuff like that, to help out Justin Fields. Really, it's Justin Fields. Justin Fields has to hit. And as long as he can continue to develop, which we've seen him look good so far, then this team could be a championship contender as early as, in my opinion, as early as the 2024 season, which feels far away. That's next year, which does not feel right. It's like, what, that's not even 7 months away. That's like, what, 6 months away? Don't like it. Yeah. Anyway, that's what the Bears could do. Let me know in the comments below. What would you do? Do you agree or disagree with my loose rebuild strategy for the Chicago Bears? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.